This is 24 Inside.
Welcome to 24 Inside, brought to you by Allstate. You're in good hands. And you are in good hands with 24 Inside because if you have just watched episode 15, as we all did, you are going to really enjoy because we are going to dissect that episode and all the other episodes. Okay, so it's not just me here, though. It's not just the guests. We also have a fabulous live studio audience. How about that? So Jack was saved once again. Jack has, what, 9 lives? 19 lives, I think? All of a sudden, there's a sharpshooter taking out the sniper. That was great. Okay, well, a very important part of this episode was Beirut, who's been the long-suffering son of the terrorist Cell family. He's a great actor, and we're so happy he's here today. And I want to make sure I say his name right. Oh, right? Yes, Jonathan Ahdout. Thank you. I was so worried about the team. Thank you. Thank you for being here. Okay. And the great names keep on coming. Now, in the Italian vein, we are lucky to have a producer and director of the show, Tim Iacofano. See you guys. All right, so now, how's your back of your neck? Is it still bloody? I mean,
I'm good now.
We all have just seen that, so. Was that pretty stressful to shoot something where you have to act as stressed as you are in that moment?
Well, basically my entire day so far in this season has been just stressed and confused and angry and sad and mad. So for me, it's been pretty much constant.
Pretty much constant.
Yeah.
And we're still mourning poor Debbie.
Yeah.
I know.
Oh, that happened just a few hours ago.
I know. Now, you have seen the arc of so many seasons. Is this season, does it feel differently for you than the other seasons?
Oh, very much so, because the terrorists lived next door.
Oh.
It wasn't some guy that, jumped out of an airplane or was, running around the alleys downtown. They lived next door.
That's a good point. And we were talking about that before, how, as high as the stakes are, they're just in Chatsworth. They're just in North Hollywood. And when you live in L.A., it makes it even more interesting. Okay, we have an email question from Amir in Atlanta for you, Jonathan. Do you find it intimidating to work with such an excellent actress as Sho Ray, or is it a learning experience? And, of course, you worked with her before in House of Sand and Fog.
Yeah, it's not intimidating at all. For me, to be able to work with her twice, and she's such a great actress, so good at what she does, and to see her play 2 completely different roles, for me, that's a better learning experience than everything else, because I get to look at that and say, okay, it's possible to be such a good actor. It's possible to play that and go from there and then play something completely different. It's possible to be that good. So it just motivates me even more.
And still have that humanity. She was here before, and she's so gracious. She's so sweet,
she's
too.
One of the most wonderful people I've ever met.
Yeah, very warm, sweet.
Yeah.
Okay. Email question for you, Tim, from Drea, all the way in the Philippines. What was your favorite episode or scene that you directed?
Well, I've had the good fortune of doing a lot.
Yeah. Is that like asking which is your favorite kid?
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, there were one from last year was really fun. Was when we brought the Marine Corps F-18s down the LA River, and we blew up the helicopter.
Yeah.
Which, imagine 2 warplanes in Los Angeles flying in underneath the approach to LAX. There were like 63 flights that came in while we were doing that, and we had to have a controller warn all the pilots, look, it's a movie. They're not coming to fly in with you.
Look, 24, episode about 24, you're going to see it.
So there was that. I mean, and I do a lot of the action stuff when I direct the second unit. That's mainly the role. And the other one was when we rescued Secretary Helly this year. The part we did with the Marines coming in. Again, we filmed the stuff with Kiefer and William Devane. On another day, and about a week later, the Marine Corps came with their helicopters and their guys that, came down the ropes and all that stuff, and we filmed that on different...
Now, you really use real Marines.
Real Marines, and those Marines that were involved in that scene, both the pilots and the fast ropers that came out of the helicopter, had just been back from Iraq for about 2 weeks earlier.
Wow.
So
that's pretty impressive.
It was a real eye-opener for all of us to see what kind of people the Marines are, and they're great guys.
Yeah,
they're really great guys. And then the other scene that I had the most fun doing was there was the episode last week was the ones with there were 2, the one with Sho Ray and Kiefer, where he turns her and says, "Okay, we're going to go undercover," and then the one that when she says goodbye to Jonathan's character. which was very powerful, very emotional. And
You
it was
got
just
some good actors there.
oh, it was. Well, I think I said to them at the end. I said, "You don't need to be directed, just encouraged," because they were
Right.
that good with it.
You're a good encourager.
Okay, audience, Mary Glenn? Where are you, Mary? Oh, thank you for being here, Mary. Okay, she has a question for you, Jonathan. How hard is it for you to play a Middle Eastern terrorist in light of today's current events? Do you think it will influence future acting jobs? So are you afraid, like, uh-oh, I'm always going to be junior terrorist, you know?
Yeah, actually, I was actually kind of afraid of that people would label me as the terrorist actor, and every part that comes my way would be for another terrorist. But for me, it was a completely different role for me to play and experience and learn from. And that's why I took the role, because he's not just a terrorist. You know, he's bruised and he has his own dimensions, and he's his own person.
Yeah.
So, and I don't think I'm going to be heading towards playing other terrorists in the future. But yeah.
And he sort of thrust them. I was surprised you said you just turned 16.
Yeah, last week.
You seem to have a much more mature bearing in the show
you
than
very
that.
much.
I thought it was one of those things where they get the guy that's really over 18, so then they can work him longer to play younger, you know. Okay, email question for you, Tim, from Sue in Toronto. In the past, the cast was unaware of the finale, and more than one ending was filmed. I didn't know that. Do you still keep secrets from the cast or the direction, or does everyone know exactly what's going to happen from the very get-go?
We keep secrets from ourselves. We don't know.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we don't know. As we speak, we're shooting episodes 21 and 22. We start shooting 23 and 24 a week from Thursday, and we're not really sure how we're going to end yet.
So you don't know how it's going to end either?
Nope.
Did you know that? Isn't that makes it more exciting? So could we perhaps influence you somehow?
Maybe.
You know? Well, now that Aisha Tyler character's dead, that's all I really wanted. I wanted her to go away.
You really don't like her.
I didn't like her.
At
She was
all.
so evil. She was getting in the way of me and Curtis. Okay, we have an email question for you, Jonathan, from Ivai in Singapore. Were you and Show Ray cast together because you'd worked together before, or did you have to audition separately? Oh, P.S., I think you're really cute.
Thank you very much.
You got a little heartbreaker there in Singapore.
Well, Shora and I had no idea that we were both going for 24 at all. I had her over the night that I was offered the role for dinner. And we're talking about what we're doing in the future, what roles are coming our way. And I'm like, you know, I got this offer for 24. And she goes, wait, what? What's your role? And I tell her Baruz, and then that's when I found out that she also had an offer to play my mom.
Oh, did that just make it all the more appealing?
Yeah, it really did. I was really excited.
Yeah, that'd be great. Okay, so audience question, Lawrence Lay. Lawrence, thank you for being here. Okay, Tim, question for you. This kind of goes along with the Marine thing. How hard was it to get access to use the stealth bomber plane? Is that a real one? Now, this is at the end of the episode that we just saw.
It's a real stealth bomber, but it's all stock footage.
You know, I gotta say, I wondered. There was one shot that I was like,
It was all stock footage. We didn't, you know. But the Marines were real.
the Marines.
Marines were real. That was not stock
Now,
footage.
you were saying something interesting, too, about, you know, the Marines, obviously, they wouldn't come in if they were going to be used in a way that wasn't going to make them look good.
Well,
But it's also true, you said, with cars, which I thought was interesting.
the Marines are like, you know, they're like Chevrolet or anybody. It's product placement, you know, and they want to be in a
Right.
good light. You know, the car makers don't want us to put dead bodies in the trunks of their cars because you don't get a Chevy with a dead body. You just don't. And murderers don't use Chryslers. You know, it's just, that's the way it is. And so, you know, the Marine Corps is no different. You know, we
Sure.
you know, use them in a moment. And in our show, it's a lot easier. You know,
Yeah.
because Jack's in trouble, call the Marines. What better role is there than helping Jack Bauer out?
Yeah, it's right. It's actually a great advert for them in that sense. Okay, email question from Emily in Connecticut for you, Jonathan. Which actor was the scariest interrogator? Because you've been kind of beaten up pretty well by now. So you've had, you know, you get beaten up by your father.
Yeah.
And then you see you got Jack and Tony.
Yeah.
It says, or did you get chills from Show Ray's smile like the rest of us? Oh, yeah, because early on she seemed...
Oh, yeah, everybody
evil.
hated her. Everybody
yeah.
hated her early
Debbie
on.
the tea and everything. You are too weak. You
Yeah.
couldn't do it.
No, she was scary. She was scary. Actually, we were sitting in the trailer one day, and she's like, okay, I want you to look genuinely scared. And I'm like, okay. So we're going through lines, and then she looks at me, and literally I got scared. And she's like, okay, let's go do that. And I'm like, I don't know if I can do that.
But yeah, so in the interrogating, was that intimidating?
I would have to say my dad, Navi, he's very physical. Yeah, and I would say that is pretty scary.
Yeah, but you know, nobody's fool. I mean, you killed him, and
Yeah.
and then there was the great shovel scene.
Yeah.
And when you were defending yourself, what was that like to shoot that scene?
The shovel scene, that was actually ended up being pretty fun. You have to imagine. But in the beginning, it was really difficult. They're like, okay, take the shovel and hit him. And I'm like, wait, you want me to actually hit him with the shovel? This is TV. You guys can probably work it out a different way. And they're like, no, we actually want you to hit him and hit him hard. And
really?
so, yeah.
Not a rubber shovel?
It was a rubber shovel, but I still had to hit the guy hard.
Yeah.
And so, I'm trying to do it, but every time I get close to his back, I instinctively slow down.
Sure, of course.
And after a while, I got the hang of it, and we were going at it. And,
That poor actor.
Poor guy. Seriously. It was a stunt guy. So, yeah, and I think he was wearing pants. He's used to it. So, yeah, it turned out.
But that was a great turning point in your character.
Yeah.
Where you're like, I don't think I want to do what Dad says anymore.
Yeah, when I read that, I was just like, wait, whoa. I kill someone with a shovel.
But I think that's one of the interesting things, the way you guys have developed him, because he's not just a rube. He's actually, he's not being part of the terrorists, but Beirut is also, he's got a little, well,
he has a mind of his own, no question about it. And that's what was fun about the character, so that the character could say, no, Dad, I don't want to do this. This is wrong.
Yeah.
I think you had that one scene where you talked about how many people have to die or how many more people are going to get. It was a great moment.
Yeah, that was good. All right, Hildy in the audience? Okay, question for you, Jonathan. How is it to work on such an intense set and combine it with your school and your studies?
It actually, it turned out to be a lot easier than I expected.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, that was my biggest concern going into filming. I told myself, I'm not too sure if I want to do TV. It's going to take a lot of time out of school. But my teachers actually were very helpful. I meet with them all the time. We contact each other on email regularly. I go to school. Most of the time I'm in school. So it really hasn't been too difficult. I keep up with my work. I keep up. It's good.
Is that hard then when you have to deal with a minor actor's hours, to kind of working that around for your shoot schedule?
It can be difficult, but in Jonathan's case, we're fortunate that he's not in every frame of film. Right. There was his household, that world we had Jack's world, we had the world of CTU. So he didn't have to, if it was called the Beirut Show, that would have been a problem.
That'll be next season. Okay, a question for you, Tim. Email from George in Norway. If the show goes past season 4, do you think 24 has a future without Kiefer Sutherland? Probably the best actor on screen.
Oh, wow. Geez.
You don't want to tip your hat in contract negotiations.
What happens if it's never sunny again in California?
I think that was this winter.
Yeah, that's right. The guy is so talented. It's so great to work with, and I've never worked with an actor, a series lead particularly, who comes to work so prepared and just he's a really smart guy too. He really understands story and all that kind of stuff. Could it go on without? I would hate to have to try and figure that out.
Yeah, everybody who's come here on the show has talked about him being a very generous performer as well with the other actors.
Yeah, he's great. He's just a total professional.
Yeah.
I was just about to say that. Definition of professional.
Yeah, that makes it a lot easier.
Yeah.
Okay, email for you, Jonathan, from Sarah, who's 15. I think you're gorgeous. Are you single? And if so, are you looking? Now, if you aren't single and you're 16, I'm going to be upset. Do you have a girlfriend?
Ride this horse.
What am I supposed to say?
Tim's like, oh, if only I was getting emails
for
like
it,
that.
Man.
Well, first I want to say thank you. And I'm open.
All right.
I've worked with this young man.
Yes.
And this is what I would say to every mom out there. If he knocks on the door to pick up your daughter, take him.
Oh.
Take him.
He's very nice man.
He's very mature, very poised, a total professional. He'll succeed at anything he does, guaranteed.
Oh.
Thanks.
There you go.
Well, you are very poised to go through all the stuff that you go through in that show.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a lot.
Thank you.
Okay, audience question from Isabel Penalosa. Hi, Isabel. Okay, question for you, Jonathan. The continuity required and achieved to make the 24-hour format work is impressive. How do you and the other actors prepare for this in each episode?
Well, it actually makes everything for us a lot easier because the whole time, throughout the entire season, every day we go to work, it's the same day. We're in the same state of mind. Things just happened, and it's fresh. We don't have to be worrying about, okay, what happened a week before, what's about to happen, because we've already filmed it. We've gone through that, and it's just step by step we're moving on.
But it takes weeks in between it, so do you have to sort of remind yourself, like, oh, Debbie died just this morning. You know, you have to think all that just happened in that
Yes,
day.
that's when it gets a little bit difficult. Like earlier, just now I said, you know, Debbie just died a few hours ago, and people laugh because, you know, it does seem like a long time ago, especially for people watching the show. It was months ago in January when that happened. So, yeah, in that sense, it could be a little difficult, but I think the scenes that I have, it just reflects everything that's happened previously in that day, so it all flows. It works great.
So do you do any interaction with the other actors to try to kind of review the stuff that's happened, or you just do it in your own head?
It's all in the lines.
Yeah.
It's all there.
Okay. And then email question for you, Tim, from Simon in England. You have like worldwide fans here.
Great.
Will there be any...
Can I stay at your house?
Will there be any conclusion to the Mandy Mack story from season 2? This was left open, and many fans are speculating that this season could see the return of both characters.
Maybe.
Maybe. Nice answer.
Maybe.
Well, I got to say, I'm loving the Tony Michelle return.
Oh, good.
I thought that was great. Wasn't that fun? Yeah. That was a good call. Now, if we could just get Tony out of that shirt, I would be so much happier. He's so cute, and the shirt's just not doing it for me.
You might be happy in a few episodes.
A shirt change. A shirt change.
You might be happy in a few episodes.
Okay, so he changes his shirt and Curtis takes off his shirt. That would be my...
Something like that.
All right, Jonathan, email question from Evan and Linda Levine in Barrington, New Jersey. How do you perceive that Beirut... Oh, that's a good question. How do you perceive that Beirut feels about the terrorist activity his family was integral in plotting? And because we know his father and mother believe deeply in this cause, but Beirut's feelings are shrouded, other than... I mean, you're very interested in your own survival, certainly.
Right. Definitely he has a lot of bravery, and he definitely knows what to believe in and goes after what he believes in. But I guess earlier on, he was a kid that did everything his parents told him to do, and I don't think he had too much contact with kids out of school and everything. He was pretty sheltered, and they're new to the country. What, 5 years?
Yeah.
Yeah, 5 years. So he's basically been raised his entire life that he's going to go and destroy America, and to him, I don't think it became real until this day, until he actually had lost someone he loved, and actually realized that he himself, his life was in danger. So I think that's when he made the turn to realize it's not right to go after everything his parents want, and that's why he can kill his dad, I think, because he realizes the lives of thousands of innocent people are more important than his family. And I think that's the main difference between him and his parents. His parents don't care about other people. They care about themselves and their beliefs and their causes, and he's completely different. He cares about everyone.
Yeah, that's cool. So in theoretical, some of their political leanings he could go along with, but just not the actual nuts and bolts of all that murder. All right, an audience question from Chris Levine? Levine. Oh, you have a creative way of spelling Levine, Chris, but thank you for being here all the way from Rhode Island. Okay, it's a question for you, Tim. Who decides who will direct each episode?
At the beginning of every year, Joel Cernow, the executive producer, and I go through the list of people that we want to work with. John Cassar is on staff as a producer-director on the show.
Yeah.
And he'll do 10 episodes. So we just figure out which ones he's going to do. Usually the first 2 and the last 2 for sure. And then we see who's available from past years, and we talk about how they did and figure it out together. Joel's basically the last word on it.
Okay, so it's not like, oh, I really want to do that Beirut scene, and so I'm invested in that character. You don't choose it like that. It's more of a schedule thing.
No.
Okay, email question for you, Jonathan, from Arnaud in Paul, France. If your character is still alive at the end of the day, do you think it's possible for him to have a normal life after losing his family and girlfriend, as well as being manipulated into terrorism?
I don't think so.
You're not going to Disneyland. Yeah, right.
Yeah, if anything, it's going to take a while. I mean, he's a strong guy. I mean, he's living through this day, and he's still active. And I'm shocked to see that he's still awake.
Yeah.
Reading these scripts, that he's able to continue his day, but he's a strong guy. He's a brave guy.
Well, there's a critical thing happened at the end of this episode is when you find out your mother's dead.
Yeah.
And it seems to me that I thought, oh, that's going to flip a switch for him. Because, you really would almost feel like you've got nothing to lose now if you don't even have your mother to protect.
Right. It's just himself now. And I think if he survives, then he's not going to let himself he's not going to let himself die down inside. I don't think he would let that happen.
Although I got to say, I got so frustrated with Beirut when his mom was like, "No, really, your dad's coming in." No, 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 no. You kind of were arguing about, like, she was like, "No, you've got to do what I say," and he was like, "No, that's not going to happen." I'm like, "Just listen to your mother." Just go along with it. Okay, Tim. Question from Patty in the audience. Hi, Patty. Thanks for being here. How do you find the locations? And thank you so much for the fan phone. Have you called it? Yes. Oh, no way. Oh, that's funny. So you actually have been talking to people on the fan phone?
I did a little bit, but it was mainly Joseph Hodges, our production designer, and Jonathan had it for a while. We kind of passed it around.
That cheap phone.
So much fun.
The locations are you know, we get a script, and lots of times it says exterior warehouse, and we know the writers don't really mean that, and we try and pick a place where it is the most plausible for what's going to happen. For example, the place where Heller was being held, we knew, even though we didn't have the script, that there was going to be a rescue, and if it was going to be in a warehouse, the rescue was going to be boring to film, so we picked the place that was ultimately chosen. It was Fort MacArthur down in San Pedro, and it was because it was down in the ground. We knew we could do an interesting type rescue.
Okay.
So some of them are chosen by that. Some are chosen. Some of the locations are chosen because over there, you know, because that's where we are, and we only have one scene, and you have to just grab it. I mean, in the episode where Jonathan's show race character comes to pick him up, we picked the train station because it was 2 blocks away from our stage, and we really couldn't find an interesting place to go. And then as we were driving by, we said, well, what about the train station? Because if Baruz is trying to get away, he could get on a train, there's cars, the buses come through, and all that kind of stuff. And it worked out because it was close, and we were able to shoot longer and do more.
Yeah.
So
makes sense. And also, well, the production designer, when he was here, he said, you know, it's also a function of cost.
That
you know,
too.
you can't do a big elaborate set. You've got so many.
Yeah.
So many things going on. Is there any kind of set you wish you could do, but you just, because of time constraints or whatever, you can't do?
I think...
The Evil Den.
I'm trying to remember what we had to really cut back this year. It's stuff that's coming up, so I can't talk about it.
Oh, okay. Top secret. Okay, Jonathan, email question from Carlos in Panama. With your success on 24, has it been easier, here it is again, has it been easier to pick up chicks in real life? And are you afraid? Your mom might poison them? Now, I met your mom. She seems like a very nice lady. I'm sure she's not out to poison your girlfriend.
She's very, very sweet mom. I don't think she would poison them. No, but you know, you're on TV.
Yes.
That's what happens.
People are interested. Okay, audience question from Don Skaparis. Are you Greek? Yeah, I thought so. Evharisto. Is the fast pace of the show stressful? Jonathan, is it hard to keep up such heightened emotions for your scenes?
Not really. Again, it's pretty much constant. You know, I'm doing it the entire day. It's what I've been doing since August when we started filming, and so basically, it just flows.
We just lost the light.
We just lost the light.
It just flows. Okay, and Tim, real quick, how do you guys react to the summaries that are posted on the web before the episodes air?
Well, we hope that doesn't happen because we want people to be surprised. You know.
They've steered me wrong. They have steered me wrong sometimes, those summaries.
Well, sometimes we post them.
Oh, it's all a big plot. It's an evil plot.
Not true. I just said that.
Oh, very funny. All right, well, you guys, thank you so much for being here. Jonathan Ahdout and Tim Iacofano. You guys got a lot of questions answered. Can't wait for the next several episodes. You've been watching 24 Inside, brought to you by Allstate. You're in good hands, and we'll see you for the next episode. I don't know why, it's just a brain fart on my nose.